In this video, I'm going to break down my cold email template that has generated more than $1 million in revenue so you can steal it, plug it into your business, and hopefully make a ton of money. If you want the link to this document that I'm going to cover throughout this video, by the way, you can check the description below. So first, I'm going to cover some proof. How do you know that this template has in fact generated over $1 million? Here's a couple screenshots from our clients. Some of these are older screenshots, so they probably generated a ton more money from the deals that we've gotten them, but this is just some stuff I have to prove this. So this is a customer who we work with on an ongoing basis. They closed $200,000 or more from the contracts that we got them because this was an older screenshot. This is another customer who said that the deals we got them are roughly equivalent to $100,000 in revenue. Here's another customer who showed us $60,000 in revenue directly from the deals we brought him. These are also recurring deals, so this is probably going to be more like $100,000 or more over the lifetime. Here's another customer who told us we helped them close 5 deals, estimated $20,000 per deal. This is a deal that I recently closed, $7,500. I got this deal 10 days from launching my cold email campaign to actually closing the deal. Another deal that we closed for a customer, 2.5 days from when we launched the campaign to them actually closing a deal, again from cold email. All these are from the template that we use here. And then another deal, $30,000 per month closed from cold email, 1,800 calls set that we've totally had over our lifetime. This is not including outside engagements and a bunch of other stuff, and then a ton more results. So you can see very quickly how this can add up to $1 million or more. First, we're going to cover the overview of the framework. What is it? How does it work? Then I'm going to go step by step and break down all the individual pieces and why they work. And then I'm going to give some examples. So again, you can plug this directly into your business for any sort of cold outreach that you're going to be doing. So first, the framework. This is the framework. It boils down to 4 simple points. It's really not that complicated when you break it down, but this is ultimately what it is. The first part you're going to talk about in your cold email is why you're specifically reaching out to them. Then you're going to talk about what value you can provide. Then you're going to talk about the next steps that they should take. So this is your call to action. And then we're going to objection handle. So we're going to go through, make sure that all the objections they could possibly have in the email are handled, and then, sending that out, making sure it looks good. So this is the 4-step framework. Very simple. I'm going to go through and actually break this down so you can see some context, and then I'm going to give you some examples. So first, here's a step-by-step breakdown. The first part of your cold email is why you're reaching out to them specifically. So before you jump in, talk about what you can sell them and all the different things that you want to pitch people, you want to talk about why you're even reaching out to them and why them specifically. So the meaning of a cold email is that they don't know you. That's the whole point of it being cold. So when a stranger emails you, the first question they're going to ask is, who is this person and why are they reaching out to me? So if I get an email from a stranger, I'm like, who is this guy? What does he want from me? Why is this guy emailing me in the first place? And so the main thing that a lot of people mess up with the first part of their email is that they jump right into their pitch whenever they don't even talk about why they're reaching out or why this is going to be contextually relevant to them. So we've all gotten long messages before. We've all seen terrible marketing. You guys have gotten spam mail, spam emails, spam real mails, LinkedIn DMs. But what differentiates like spam mail and actually good cold outreach is the specificity, why you're reaching out to them specifically, because at the end of the day, your goal is to help them. And if you can give them a compelling reason of why you can help them, your email goes from something that's a nuisance to something that they're actually excited to see and hopefully fix the problem that you're going to help them solve. So many people are trying to capture attention. Everyone's being marketed to everywhere. The goal for you with your cold email is to capture their attention quickly within the first few seconds of them opening your email so they actually have a reason to read it. So how is this done? It's specificity, and also it's calling out pain points that are relevant to them. So if you get an email and it says, hey, John, I hope you had a great afternoon. We're XYZ company. We're game changers in the blah, blah, blah. It's already going in the trash, right? If I got this email, I wouldn't even finish the rest of it. It could have the key to all my answers, but because the first few sentences in the email indicate to me that this is generic marketing mail, because again, they're not talking about anything specific to me. They're not talking about my problems, what they can solve for me. I'm going to throw it in the trash. So you don't need to finish the rest of this email to, number 1, know that you're being marketed to. And number 2, know that they don't have any specific value, because if they did, they would call that out in the first few parts of the email. So even if this company had a good intention of why they're reaching out to you, you're still probably not going to read it because they didn't get to the point quickly. So our goal is to capture your recipient's attention quickly. And the way that you do this is by calling out a pain point that is relevant to them, and ideally something that is also specific to them. So something that is relevant is, let's say there's a business and they have marketing problems, calling out saying, hey, do you need help with marketing support? That's a pain point and that's relevant to them, but also specific is what really levels up your email. So a specific thing is something that is only unique to them. So if I say, hey, John, I noticed you're wearing a white t-shirt, that's specific, but that's not relevant unless you have something specifically to tell them about his white t-shirt. Relevant is something that is an actual problem to them. The best of both worlds is when you can make it specific and relevant. It's saying, hey, I saw you have this specific problem. Here's how we can solve it. So here's an example. Hey, John, I went to your website and I noticed that the average load speed of your website is 2.6 seconds long. Did you know this is killing your conversion rate? So this is specificity, right? Again, to our point here, why I'm reaching out to them specifically. The specific part here is about their website. We're not saying, hey, is your website loading slow? We're saying, I saw your website is loading slower. Hey, I saw your website's average load speed is 2.6 seconds long. Did you know this is killing your conversion rate? So assuming here we're reaching out to a company that cares about conversion rate, which you can filter for by going after e-commerce stores or some company that cares about this metric, you will have a valid reason of why you're reaching out to them specifically and also showing them what value you can provide. Because if I get an email and it's specific to me, it shows a relevant pain point, I'm going to be interested in reading the rest of it. So a lot of this stuff can be done, like the next question here, I guess I'm already answering. A lot of this stuff can be done via a tool like Clay. So, the question here is, how do I get an email where I can say at scale, hey, I noticed your website loads in 2.6 seconds or 1.5 seconds or whatever it is? The way you can do this at scale is by using a tool like Clay. I have a video here if you want to check it out after this one, breaking down how you can personalize emails at scale. Otherwise, you can do this manually. If you just want to manually check out people's websites, notice something that's wrong with it, or hey, if you're doing like a website related offering, you can see if they have a web developer on their team. There's all different types of pain you can scout for and stuff to make them relevant to your service that you can either do manually or you can do it at scale with a tool like Clay. And like I said, you can check it out in this video if you want to see how to do that scale. So step one, just to recap, we are calling out why we're reaching out to them specifically with a relevant pain point. That's the first thing we want to cover in our email. So the next thing we want to cover is what value you can add to them, again, specifically. So now that we've gotten their attention about their slow website load speed or whatever you're selling, now we need to tell them why they should care about fixing it. So think about this. When was the last time you bought something without knowing what's in it for you, right? If I just give you something, I'm like, hey, go buy this just so you can give me money, or waste your time by jumping on a call with me, they're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. Everyone thinks selfishly, and rightfully so, because everyone is in their own self-interest. So the key here is not to just tell them what you do, but explain how you can specifically benefit them. Talk about the value you can provide to them. And so there's lots of different ways you can frame your service and the value you can provide. So I'm going to break down the example with fixing their website load speed. Revenue generation. This is one angle we can take. We can say, hey, we recently helped another e-commerce store increase their conversion rate by 32% by reducing their load time from 2.5 seconds to 0.8 seconds. This led to an additional $127,000 in revenue last month. So I just wrote this really quick here. If I were to actually write this, I'd probably want to condense this because this is a bit of a run-on sentence. But the point here is that we're telling them what value we can provide by having them reduce their website load speed and how we can do that for them. The results we're talking about here, hey, we helped another company get another $100,000 in revenue by doing this. And we're giving a tangible example. Now, there's a lot of ways you can frame your offer. This is one angle, which is the revenue generating angle. So anyone who sells a marketing service, you're doing it to help them generate more revenue 99% of the times. The other angle you can take a lot in B2B services is time savings. So here's where we can talk about implementation and management. Like, hey, instead of hiring an in-house dev team to try and figure this out yourself, we can have this optimized in 72 hours. So that's a different angle. Now, you might want to split test both of these, or depending on your product or service, you might already know the specific angle of why people buy. But the second part of this email is where you're actually conveying that value. So you're talking about why do people buy, and you're lining out to them, showing them, hey, here's exactly how we can help you. So the key to making these work is being specific. So a bad example is, hey, we help businesses improve their website performance, or we help businesses make more money, or we help businesses do X, Y, and Z. You want to talk specifically about them. And this is the key, as you can see this recurring theme throughout this video, is specificity. Cold outreach intrinsically is a one-to-one channel. It's not an ad. It's not a piece of content where Right now, I'm talking in generalities because I don't know who's on the other side of the screen. But with cold email, you do. You're reaching out to someone specifically. And so you want to make sure the emails that you're sending out are specific to them. And if you're doing this manually, again, you can use this template and go through and cross-reference this against a bunch of different people you're doing individually, or you can do this at scale through a tool like Clay or working with an external partner. So a good example, hey, we helped your competitor reduce their load time from 2.4 seconds to 0.9 seconds, which increased their conversion rate and added, additional revenue, right? Again, good example, being specific, bad example, being general. So notice how the second one gives a specific competitor, gives exact numbers, shows the exact revenue impact, proves that we've done it before. This is how you make your emails good. If you want to make it even better, you can match your value prop to something specific about their business. So for example, if you notice, like let's say one data point is checking their website load speed, another data point we could grab is grabbing how many monthly visitors they have. So you can see here, hey, I noticed you had 50,000 monthly visitors to your site. With your 2.6 second load time, you're losing roughly 13,500 potential customers every month before they even see your offer. So again, this is contextualizing your value, again, super specific to them. So if you want to send these emails at scale, you have to use AI or you have to have someone manually doing this. Otherwise, again, you have to do this yourself. So typically you want to combine the technical improvement, like the specific thing you're talking about, like the reducing load time in this example, to the business impact. The reason why people buy B2B services and reason why people respond to cold emails is to get something typically that generates revenue for their business. So not only are we going to get your load time under 1 second, but based on industry averages, blah, 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 blah. Again, you can kind of simplify this in your email. Keep this to 1 to 2 lines, but again, convey the value that you can provide to their business. So your goal isn't necessarily to list every benefit. I'm not going to send them a huge laundry list because if you do, then your email is going to be super long. You want to give them the best benefit that will show them the value, which will then lead to them getting on the call. Like I said, there's a bunch of different value points to working with an agency to help them reduce your website load speed time. But we're talking about the one that is most relevant and direct to their business, which is revenue, right? We're talking about the most important value here. So moving on to the next part of the email. So first, we explain why we're reaching out. Then we explain what value we have to provide to them. Now we're just pitching the call to action. So now that we've gotten their attention and shown them the value, you need to tell them what to do next. So the biggest mistake I see people make is that they either don't tell people what to do next or that their call to action is too vague. They'll either have multiple call to actions, they'll make it too vague where they're not giving them something directly they can say yes to. A good CTA is something that someone can simply say yes to. So they can say, hey, yes, I want this thing, or yes, let's hop on a call, right? So a good example of a CTA is, hey, do you have time for a quick call on Tuesday? So this is something you can easily say yes to. You can be on your phone, get the email and just say, yep, I'm interested in a quick call on Tuesday, instead of something where they have to type out a whole paragraph to explain how they can get on a call with you or how that they're interested. So do you have time for a quick call? That's a direct example of a CTA. Another direct example is, hey, do you want me to shoot you over a full report on your current website's bottlenecks? This is direct, maybe not directly to a call, but this is something you can do in your cold email to help build trust. So instead of saying, hey, give me 15 minutes of your time, you're saying, hey, let me send you over some more free stuff to, again, prove that I'm competent before you get on a call with me and before I try and pitch you my services. So another example of a CTA is, can I shoot you over a quick video breaking down some CRO ideas? So CRO is conversion rate optimization. And this whole example that I'm showing here in this video is like a conversion rate example because we're talking about website load speed. Shooting over some ideas in a video works really, really, really well because if you're reaching out to a stranger, again, they don't know who you are. They don't know why they should trust you. And if you can give them a quick video that is specific to them, breaking down some more ideas, building trust, building value, that makes it much more likely that they'll get on a call and much more likely that they'll purchase your services. So shooting over a quick video, another really good idea that you can use as a CTA. And if you notice, all these CTAs you can just say yes to. It's not confusing. There's not multiple CTAs. There's just one. So it's like, hey, name, notice you have a slow website. Is this killing your conversion rate? Here's how we can help you. And are you open to a quick call so that we can help you? Notice how these are specific, easy to say yes to, and directly related to what we just talked about. So this one is more of just like a direct call example, this open to a quick call on Tuesday. But the other examples are directly related to optimizing their website's load speed, and showing them more examples and building more value in the email. So here's a quick framework I use to determine what is the best call to action to use in your email. So if you're confident in your offer and you know that your market really, really, really wants your offer, it's not saturated, there's not many people doing what you do, you can just go for the meeting directly. You can say, hey, do you have 15 minutes this week to speak on this? Go straight for the call. Try and get a yes out of them, and then shoot them over some time so you can schedule a call and sell them on your services. If you need to build more trust, like for example, if your service is more complex or there's a bunch of people selling the service that you're selling, the video angle or the more info angle works really well. So you can offer something valuable first. This is like what we were talking about here earlier. You can say, hey, do you want me to just shoot you over a quick speed test showing how your site is losing visitors or where your site is losing visitors? The key here is just to make sure that your CTA aligns with how you want to sell them. If you're willing to do that extra step where you send over free value before they get on a call, again, that's going to help your cold email script a lot more. So if you have a strong case study in their industry, you can also go directly for a meeting ask. If they're skeptical, probably just give them something for free for first. Using our website speed example, we already covered a few CTAs. You can check out a few more here. The reason why these work so well is because you're just being direct and you're giving them an easy way to say yes. So another powerful CTA here, the Loom video. Hey, I record a quick video showing you your current website speed issues. Send them a link. If you're doing this manually, you can send this up front. If you're doing this at scale, you just ask them if you want them to send a video, then record the video after. So there's a lot of ways you can get this done. So the reason why the Loom stuff works really well, it's personal, it's proof. You can go through their website, show some case studies and testimonials. It's easy. They just click, they watch it. If you're going to do the Loom strategy, try and keep your video short again. The whole point of a lot of stuff I'm talking about here is specificity and brevity. You want to be quick, you want to be specific, you want to be to the point, and the same is true for your Loom. So the first 15 seconds, you can intro yourself, show them the specific problem, then talk a quick overview about how you'd fix it, and then give a clear next step. So 15 seconds for intro, 60 seconds for specific problems, 30-second overview of how you'd fix it, and 15 seconds of a CTA. Again, this is 2-minute framework, just something you can use if you want to send Loom videos in your CTA as part of your email. So the last part of the email framework is objection handling. And I put in parentheses here, rewriting, because this isn't necessarily a part of your email script directly, but this is a process that you do once everything's laid out. So if you went through the first 3 steps, you explained why you're reaching out to them specifically, you told them the value you can provide, you gave them a clear next step call to action. The only thing left here is nothing really. Like, you can send that email out. But what I like to do, this is what takes emails from like a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10, is rewriting the email. So where most people mess up their emails is they write them, they hit send, and then they wonder why no one responds. The secret that I've had to making sure that my emails convert really well is just to pretend you're the person receiving it. So if you have a lead list of like 20 people, 200 people, 2,000 people, click through 10 of them and pretend you're that person. Pretend you just received the email that you were about to send to them. What would all their objections be? Because all these people are busy. All these people get tons of emails and they don't respond to all of them. So there's clearly reasons why people are responding to emails and why they're not. So whenever you're looking at your email, you want to pretend to be a recipient and ask yourself, if I got this email, what would make me delete it? What would make me not want to get on a call? And what would make me want to get on a call? So if we use our example above, what are some objections that someone could have about this website speed offer? Hey, my site speed isn't that important. I don't trust that this guy can do this for me. This is probably really expensive. We have developers that are doing this right now, or we have other priorities right now. So here's some common objections just in this website development example. The way that you then can weave these into your emails to make them convert really well is to figure out how you can actually handle those objections before they even come up. Because the truth is, with cold email, unlike cold calling, like if I call someone and I say, hey, this is my offer, they'll give you the objection because they're on the line, or they'll just hang up. With cold email, a lot of people who are just not interested don't respond to the email. That's like the biggest problem, is that 90% or more of the emails you're going to send aren't going to get responded to simply because they have some sort of objection that you didn't handle in the email. So how can we address these in the email? You can try and answer this directly and say, hey, our service is affordable, we're experts, this is really important. But that's a really bad way of handling it, because you want to show, not tell, right? If I say, hey, look at me, I'm an expert, you should listen to my cold email framework, that's not going to convince you as much as me showing you, like I did at the beginning of this video, all these screenshots of people that we've gotten results for. So you want to show and not tell, and not just say, hey, we're experts, it's cheap, you should trust me, our site speed is an important metric, and saying all these things. You want to show it. So an example, right? Hey, I noticed your site takes 2.6 seconds to load. We recently helped competitor reduce their load time to 0.8 seconds, which increased their conversion rate by 32% and attributed to this much in revenue. We've done this for 50 plus e-commerce stores with 100% success rate, and we can have it done within 72 hours of starting. So why does this work so much better than just saying, hey, we can help reduce your load speed? The reason why is because we addressed all these objections, and you can see in this example how we weaved it in. So how did we weave in the objection that we are an authority and that we've done this before? We called out their competitor. We also called out that we did it for 50 plus other people. And we also talked about our success rate. So now you're competent. They see you as an authority. They can trust that what you're saying is probably true. How can they trust that it'll actually work for them? Well, if you did it for a competitor, it's much more likely that they'll believe that it works for you if you did it for a competitor. So that's another way that you handle the objection. Another way that you can handle the objection that this is important is talking about the revenue growth, talking about how much results this can actually generate. So again, these objections aren't necessarily something where you say, hey, this should be a priority. You shouldn't use your own developers. You should use our developers. This is really cheap. You just answer the objection by showing, not telling, by giving them examples, not by just answering it directly. So this one paragraph handles multiple objections. Shows importance by showing revenue numbers. It proves expertise by showing how many sites you've worked with. It shows speed of results, 72 hours. It builds trust. It implies affordability because ROI is there, right? This is probably affordable because it's less than $127,000. So all these things show, again, that your service works and that they should trust you and get on a call with you. Another example I'll give you of objections is this is like a less direct example with like ROI directly with offshore developers. So let's say you're selling a service where you can place offshore developers. There's objections that might not be directly related to revenue, but it could just be about your service. And you don't even need to have like this huge case study. You just need to think what they're thinking and say it in a way that sounds human, right? So like a really common objection about people hiring offshore talent is that they won't speak good English. So you can say, hey, our developers have a minimum of 3 years experience and are fluent in English, right? So you just covered the objection that they're not just some random offshore developer. They're someone who has experience, speaks English, works in the EST time zone. These are all things people are thinking if they're looking or considering to purchase an offshore service. So you're just handling them up front in the email, because if I get an email and someone says, hey, Matt, I can place a virtual assistant into your company, the first thing I'm going to think is, can they speak English? Is it affordable? Do they understand cold email? And if someone sent me an email saying, hey, we can hire a cold email specialist into your business, there's a lot higher likelihood chance that I'm going to respond to that email. All right, so to recap, the key is to write your email, list every possible objection, review which objections would kill the deal or prevent them from getting on a call, weave those proof points in your email so that you can handle these objections up front, and then also keep it natural. You don't want to make it sound like you're defending yourself and coming from this defensive tone. Just make it sound human and just weave all of the objections throughout the email. So remember, you don't need to handle every objections, just the ones that will kill the deal. You don't need to talk about all the different nuances of your product or service. Keep your email short, but hit on the main points that would stop someone from getting on a call with you. So here's some examples. I'm going to read out a couple of these. This is also going to be in the description below if you want to check this out. Hi name, I noticed you run a medical staffing firm. Are you looking for more ways to source candidates? Specific, calling out a pain point here. We run a community of med students who just finished the residency and are actively looking for new job opportunities. Would you be open to a 15-minute call to discuss a partnership? So why does this email work? We're calling out what type of company they are, a medical staffing firm. We're calling out a pain point. Hey, are you looking to source more candidates? We're giving them a reason to believe that we can do this because we're talking about our mechanism of a community of med students, right? I can believe that you're going to place med students in my business because I have a community of them. And then also this piece here, they're actively looking for new job opportunities. This is pre-handling the objection of like, hey, I have a bunch of med students. It's like, hey, they're actively looking for new job opportunities. Here's a couple more examples. I'm not going to read out all of these. I'm going to read out one more, but this one, hey, I saw you liked Alex Hormozi's post on LinkedIn about content strategy and noticed you don't seem to be posting much on LinkedIn. is content strategy a priority for you? So we're calling out something that's super specific to them. We say, hey, I noticed this specific thing. You liked Alex Hormozi's post on LinkedIn content, and you're not posting content. So is this a priority for you? So the next line here, for context, I run a ghostwriting agency and helped manage another YC founder's LinkedIn account. We're assuming we're reaching out to a YC founder's LinkedIn account, which helped them get 100 plus more demos. Would you be interested if I showed you the content strategies we use for them? So that's a mouthful, but to break down this email, again, step by step, we're calling out why we're reaching out to them because they liked Alex Hormozi's post on content strategy. And we're calling out a pain. Hey, you don't seem to be posting much on LinkedIn. Then we talk about our value. Hey, we run a LinkedIn ghostwriting agency. We talked about why we can specifically help them. In this case, if they're a YC founder, we talk about another YC founder that we helped. And then we have a CTA that is direct, related to them, and showing them content strategy that they can plug into their business. They can say, yes, you can send over a Loom and you can send them more info. So recapping this video, that's the process. That's a framework we use to write scripts. If you want the link to this document, it's in the description below. If you want to work with me and our team in some capacity to help you with your cold outreach, whether that's writing scripts, whether that's managing everything end to end, you can check out our website, inevomarketing.com. And if you want to work with our team, you can just apply on our website. So I appreciate you a ton. Thank you for watching this video. Check out the other videos on this channel and go make some money.